Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the MJ Hurley Show, presented by TDT Media and Erie Insurance. I appreciate you all tuning in for another wonderful 20 minutes of whatever we're going to go through today. On that note, just to break it down, I'm going to talk about today. Obviously, this is being recorded the evening of the Super Bowl. So we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Not super in depth because you guys watched it for the most part. I'm pretty sure you know what's going on. Just give you a little recap on that. I do want to talk about the Waste Management Open. It was a wild weekend there in Phoenix, including a playoff that was going on during the beginning of the Super Bowl. So I'm going to walk through that a little bit, and then a little bit of an NBA breakdown. We've got a lot going on in the association right now. We're getting very close to the All-Star break, so I want to take a look at a couple of the teams that are making moves and what that will look like going into the second half of the season. But first and foremost, we are going to talk Super Bowl. So the Chiefs, let me just put it this way. Patrick Mahomes is going to go down as the greatest quarterback to ever touch a football. If you cannot acknowledge that, then I do not know what to tell you. When you look at every single metric and compare Patrick Mahomes at this point in time, February 11th, 11:30 at night, to where Tom Brady was at this exact point in his career, Patrick Mahomes is ahead of him in every category. And you know where he's also ahead of him, ladies and gentlemen? Not to go on this rabbit trail, but just for a little bit, you know where he's also ahead of Tom Brady? Is he has more physical talent than Tom Brady has ever had. Patrick Mahomes has already made more impressive throws in the regular season, in the postseason, in the Super Bowl than Tom Brady has or ever could have made. So when you look at what Patrick Mahomes did this year with a wide receiving core that led the NFL in drops this season, with a running back that was selected in the same seventh round that Brock Purdy was selected in the 2022 NFL draft, and an offensive line that almost led the NFL in false starts this year, a makeshift tackle group. Patrick Mahomes did that and barely even looked stressed. When it came down to it, Patrick Mahomes rushed for 66 yards in this Super Bowl because he said, you know what? If Isaiah Pacheco can't do it, I will. He said, if these receivers can't catch the ball, I'm just going to go ahead and run. And so when San Francisco, who is one of the best teams in football all year, every single number, every single metric said that the San Francisco 49ers should have won that football game. And you know what? They should have. If it weren't for a blocked extra point, if it weren't for a muff punt, if it weren't for mistakes on both sides of the football, the San Francisco 49ers should have won that football game. But Patrick Mahomes is that guy. And when it came down to it in overtime, he willed the Chiefs to win. So we're going to put up real quick that play, the last play. And I just want to break down real quick how impressive of a play this is because of a couple things. So when you look at this play, keep in mind real quick, and we're going to pause right here. 8 seconds left in this overtime period. Now, I know Tony Romo completely messed this up, and I will call him out on this. Tony Romo completely messed this up. Overtime in the playoffs is not a second game. Tony Romo said on the broadcast, and nobody corrected him on it, that if the time ran out on this overtime period, all the Chiefs had to do was just go into second overtime and keep playing. That is incorrect. The Chiefs have not snapped the ball. It is 8 seconds left, and they have 8 seconds to score at least 3 points to continue into a second overtime. It is the same way as in college football, where you each have one possession, except in college football, it's just a possession. In the NFL, there's actually a time on it. And the Chiefs took so long, as did the 49ers on their first drive. The Chiefs took so long going down the field that they ran this down to 8 seconds. Now, I give Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes credit. Y'all had the balls to snap the ball with 8 seconds left. And, worst case scenario, this could have ended poorly. Now, they had the timeouts. So even if you complete something in the field of play, you have the ability to call a timeout. But that is very dangerous with the Super Bowl on the line from the 3-yard line to have 8 seconds left on a running clock and not even have snapped the ball yet. Now, when you look at the actual play, this is a play that the 49ers have consistently been beaten on. You start out with trips on the right, and then McCole Hardman does a very simple motion. When Patrick Mahomes sees this motion, he sees that at the top, I believe, Sai, if you can nod in the background, I believe that's Jimmy Ward at the top, number 7. Um, and so you get Jimmy Ward just biting just barely. His momentum going a little bit towards the middle of the field. McCole Hardman and Patrick Mahomes see that this is man coverage. And so then Jimmy Ward is much more stationary. He's pointed towards the inside leverage on the field. And McCole Hardman just easily beats all of the defenders out. And they brought a little bit of heat and very easy touchdown here. And I will say I've muted the call on this, not just for copyright, but also because Tony Romo completely ruined Jim Nance's call, blabbering on about the play call. Tony, we don't care anymore. The Chiefs won with 3 seconds left in overtime in the Super Bowl for a two-peat and 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, and you're blabbering on about man coverage. That's for me to do right now. You don't need to do it during the actual broadcast. But yeah, this was probably, other than the Packers winning the Super Bowl when I was 10, this is probably the best Super Bowl I have watched. Obviously, that Atlanta Patriots Super Bowl was good. The Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl was good in terms of like coming down to the wire and all of that. But I like Patrick Mahomes a heck of a lot more than I like Tom Brady. Also, just because Patrick Mahomes doesn't drive me crazy. I know a lot of people are annoyed with the Chiefs right now, the Taylor Swift stuff. Some people are annoyed with Travis Kelce, with Patrick Mahomes having, his wife had Ice Spice in the suite. I really could not care less. Like, that stuff does not frame for me my wishes about who won this game. I'm a Packers fan. I was biased. I wanted the Chiefs to win because I didn't want the 49ers to win. But also, you are witnessing greatness. Patrick Mahomes, since becoming an NFL starter 6 years ago, has 3 Super Bowls. He has 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 NFL MVPs, is a 3-time All-Pro, has made the Pro Bowl every single year, is a 2-time passing touchdown leader, and has the NFL record for most passing yards in a season. If you're not telling me that after 6 years he's done all that and he's not on track to be the best ever, I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. But yeah, wonderful Super Bowl. Can't wait for 2024. Hopefully the Green Bay Packers will be somewhere in the mix in 2024. They overachieved this year, in my humble opinion. I know in my preseason, I had them winning the division. Got to create a little intrigue, right? But, hopefully they'll be in the mix in 2024. And I'm already starting the clock for when we can get football again in 2024. Next thing I want to talk about is the Waste Management Open in Phoenix that was played this weekend. PGA Tour hosts one of the greatest events, one of the greatest sporting events of the entire year, every single year in Phoenix at TPC Scottsdale. It is just a wonderful event at a beautiful course. The field is always fantastic. And so the first thing I'm going to break down before we actually get to the play of the golfers, I'm going to break down some of the controversy that was going on with, I believe it was on Friday. It was either Friday or yesterday, with some of the security, some of the alcohol sales, and all of that. So if you aren't aware, there's a party hole. The 16th hole at TPC Scottsdale is called the party hole. And so it is a giant, like, horseshoe-shaped grandstands. Thousands upon thousands of people are in those grandstands. There are VIP suites. There are boxes very similar to a NFL game, very similar to an NBA game. There are regular grandstands, and then there's like the VIP section. Okay. So, as it is at any sporting event, in order to enter these grandstands, in order to enter the entire grounds, as they call it at a PGA Tour event, you need a ticket. Okay. So, to get past any type of entrance, you need a ticket. On Saturday, what happened was the security, not like saying that the management of the Waste Management Open or anything like that, or the PGA Tour, the actual security on site at TPC Scottsdale stopped scanning tickets. So whereas there were normally 250,000 people on the entire grounds, which they prepare for, the estimation by the Scottsdale Fire Department was there were 500,000 people on the grounds yesterday. And The reason for that is because everybody found out they weren't scanning tickets. And so everyone in the surrounding area just flooded there. And so what happened after that was, now imagine 500, that double the amount of people that are supposed to be on the grounds, 500,000 people all around this facility. And so what then additionally happened was some bartenders stopped checking wristbands, stopped checking tickets in VIP boxes, in general admission, when they were selling alcohol. And so what occurred was, in roughly a 4-hour span, the estimation was over 1 million alcoholic beverages were sold, which makes sense. If there's 50,000, 500,000 people there, we're just talking 2 drinks a person. And obviously, not everybody's drinking, but it gets real easy to go way above and beyond. And so then you have videos of people, running around shirtless, people puking into trash cans, like, just not. And I hate to be the guy that's like, that's not traditional golf fan behavior. But at the end of the day, there is a certain decorum that is supposed to be held when you're at a golf tournament. I understand the party hole is supposed to be a little bit of a different vibe. It's supposed to be more of like a Ryder Cup, a little bit more rowdy. But still, at the end of the day, like, there were people just sliding around shirtless on grass and hills places. And like, that's not what is supposed to be going on at APGA Tour events. So, I don't know what has to be changed next year for that not to happen. But a lot of people who paid a lot of money to have a certain experience did not get that experience, which obviously is not what the Waste Management Open wants. And it was just wild. Um, so then all of that happens this weekend, right? So then today, the Waste Management Phoenix Open always has the issue of going up against the Super Bowl, and so they want the tournament to end before the Super Bowl starts. And so this tournament was supposed to end roughly around 3 or 4 o'clock Phoenix time, which would get it done before the 6 p.m. Eastern start, 6:30 p.m. Eastern start of the Super Bowl. The issue was, we went into a playoff. So 47-year-old Charlie Hoffman and Nick Taylor went into a playoff. And Nick Taylor and Charlie Hoffman went on some incredible runs at the end of this tournament. They both finished at 21 under going into the final hole, and they both birdied the final hole. So finish at 21 under. And to give some context, Sam Burns and Scotty Scheffler, who are two of the best golfers on the tour, finished at 18 under. And Nick Taylor and Charlie Hoffman blew them away. They were all sitting at about 17 under going into hole 12. Taylor and Hoffman just took it away. So then what the PGA Tour does is they replay a playoff hole 18, to decide who the winner is. Nick Taylor and Charlie Hoffman go down and both birdie 18 again. So they have now both birdied 18 2 times in a row. And so they go back for a third run, a second playoff hole, third straight time playing hole 18. And Nick Taylor wins the Waste Management Phoenix Open by birdieing yet again, which is what you see right here. Just an incredible performance from Nick Taylor. He is a Canadian, so it's very cool to see. There were a couple of fellow Canadian golfers on tour who were there in attendance supporting him. Just an incredible finish to a wild weekend. And it is only just soured a little bit by all of the chaos that was going on. But we don't talk a lot of golf around here, so I just wanted to highlight very good performance from Nick Taylor. It has been years, I believe, since he's won on tour, so very cool to see that again. Even for those who enjoy betting around here, Nick Taylor was plus 1,000 with 4 holes to play today. He was 3 shots back of the lead. Basically, I believe he birdied out. So a birdie on 15, he was plus 5,500. Then a birdie on 16 brought him down to plus 3,300. And then on 17, we had a missed birdie opportunity, put him back to plus 1,000, and then he birdied on 18 and had a little bit of help. So it was just incredible. Shout out to Nick Taylor. We love golf around here, so very proud of him. But you know what we love even more than a good finish, and this is something the Waste Management needs. When you get 500,000 people on your grounds, you're going to need some good car insurance or some good home insurance to make sure your home is taken care of.
Erie Insurance says here's to the grown-ups who move, mortgage, mow, and still bust a move. But does your home insurance still fit? Erie helps you protect the home you've grown into, all at fair prices that are often less than the other guys. So how do you find the right coverage? Magic. Nope. Local independent agents who get to know you like this.
Your local Erie agent is Building Block Insurance Group. Get a quote today at 704-464-4544.
Erie Insurance.
And when you call Jeff at 704-464-4544, make sure to let him know that TDT Media sent you, and he'll be sure to take care of you with a little discount on the home or car insurance. So with that being said, last thing I want to talk about real quick is just some NBA news around the association. The first thing is that man, Stephen Curry. In the game against the Phoenix Suns last night, which I would just like to declare the fact that I somehow didn't watch this basketball game, and I am incredibly heated about that. I even said to my wife, hey, this game is on tonight. When they're done playing Xbox, we should watch this game. And I somehow just forgot about it hours later and didn't watch this basketball game. Steph Curry, in what was in my opinion, this was a legacy game for Steph Curry. One of the things people have said a lot is that KD carried Curry for a few years. And while Curry did win 2 of his 4 championships, well, Kevin Durant was a member of the Golden State Warriors, he also won one before KD was there, and he's won one after KD was there. And what did Steph Curry do last night? He hit a game-winning shot against the Phoenix Suns to defeat them 113-112 and dominated, as he has done this entire 6 of 7 game stretch for the Golden State Warriors. As Mike Green likes to say, mama, there goes that man. Steph Curry has been on fire, and he is proving that he is, in Kevin Durant's words, not just the greatest point guard ever, but one of the greatest basketball players ever. This man is setting records left and right. He not only has the record for the 7 best 3-pointers per game months ever, he has so many records, not just shooting percentages, not just scoring, but the man has done so many things. And we're at a point now where Draymond was suspended for a good chunk of this season. Klay Thompson is a shell of his former self, which as a Warriors fan for years, it does make me sad to see. But Steph Curry is currently dominating with a young Jonathan Kuminga, with Andrew Wiggins, who is struggling as well. Kevon Looney is barely even playing. Like, the Golden State Warriors are evolving consistently. They have evolved multiple times, because originally it was the OG death lineup before KD got there. We had Iguodala, Harrison Barnes, and then Klay, Dre, and Steph. And then we had KD come, Harrison Barnes exited, and we evolved a little bit with Kevin Durant there, Zaza Pachulia, and it was a different type of Warriors offense. It was much more isolation, a little bit less ball movement, and now we have a lot more cutting, a lot more pick and roll with Steph and Draymond, and the Warriors have evolved so much. But again, at the center of that has been Stephen Curry. And when you have Kevin Durant, when you have Steve Kerr, when you have so many NBA legends saying that man is one of the best basketball players ever, it is just baffling to me that we can still say the man who leads the NBA in clutch time points this year, the man who leads the NBA in clutch time baskets, go-ahead baskets made since 2014, we're still questioning his ability to play in big games. He can dominate in the regular season. He's dominated in the postseason. He did it to the Celtics. He's done it to the Cavs. He's done it to LeBron. Like, all you had to do was watch that game against the Lakers a few weeks ago, where Curry and LeBron went back and forth. And those two, when they play against each other, it is clear that they see each other as equals. Obviously, LeBron has had an incredible career. He will go down as probably the second best player ever. You can have that debate. I really don't want to. But if you don't include Curry in at least your top 5, I don't know what to tell you. But to get off my soapbox real quick, the other 2 teams I want to talk about are the Boston Celtics first, who are first in the NBA. They played the Heat today. who are without Jimmy Butler. Just real quick, condolences to Jimmy Butler. He's out for a little bit with a personal matter, a death in the family, something you never want to see. But with Jimmy out, the Celtics did take down the Heat today on the primetime ABC game before the Super Bowl. The Celtics just look so good, man. And the biggest difference between last year and this year is the addition of Kristaps Porzingis. It is given Jason Tatum, that man right there, the ability to play such a freer version of his game. And the reason being, Kristaps can take the five, the big man, the center on the opposing team, in this case today, Bam Adebayo. He takes him out to the perimeter because since January 1st, Kristaps Porzingis is shooting 42% from three, which is just ridiculous. The man is 7'3". You heard me. He is 7'3", and he's shooting 42% from three. The ability that gives the Boston Celtics offense to revolve around Jason Tatum, to play an incredible game of pick and pop with Jaylen Brown and Kristaps, with Jason Tatum and Kristaps. It makes it so much easier for them to score on offense. And then on defense, Kristaps Porzingis is still one of the best rim defenders in the league. So that addition has been huge for them. They are dominating the East. If I had to make a prediction right now, I would say they would easily be my favorite to come out of the East. I do like the Bucks, obviously. I think the addition of Patrick Beverley will be huge for them. A great locker room presence, a great defender. I still don't buy it. I don't know about a backcourt of Dame and Pat Bev starting together. I don't know how that's all going to look. So if I had to put my money on it today, I would still go with the Celtics coming out of the East. And then to go to the Western Conference race real quick. The Oklahoma City Thunder have looked so good. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably going to be the NBA MVP, if I had to guess right now, especially with Joel Embiid probably not going to hit that 65-game mark, because SGA is sitting here today averaging 31, 6, and 6, 2 steals, and a block a game, which is just ridiculous. And when you have a OKC team who is not expected to perform like this season, 36-17, they're tied for second, basically in the West right now, a very tight West with Minnesota, LA, OKC, and Denver all right there in the first 4 spots. What makes it interesting is then with the Warriors climbing, the Warriors are now in the 10th spot, and there is only a 4.5 game difference between 5th place in the West and 10th place in the West. So this is going to be a very tight race. And honestly, if I had to make a prediction right now, I don't know who would come out of the West because it is such a tight race. But it is very impressive what the OKC Thunder have been able to do with such a young team. The one thing I do want to go over real quick, and shout out to my producer, Sai, in the background, who brought this up before the show. He asked me, and I've seen this question a lot, with how many picks the OKC Thunder have. Sam Presti, the general manager of the Thunder, has 18 picks in the next 6 drafts, in the next 6 NBA drafts. And at the NBA trade deadline, which was this week, Sam Presti did not trade any of them for a big-time player. I believe he sent a pick swap to Charlotte for Gordon Hayward. But other than that, Sam Presti basically stayed put with his young roster. So there's 2 reasons for that. Number one, the amount of picks he would have to give up to get a player that would actually make the OKC Thunder probably win a championship this year would be ridiculous. Because other than picks, the Thunder don't really have any assets that they're willing to part with. Their biggest guys are their young guys that are going to be part of their core, and you don't want to part with those to make one of those deals. So when you look at SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Josh Giddey, those are your 4 guys, right? That is your core. You don't want to pass those up. You don't want to give those guys up. And so in order to get a impact player, it is somebody like you just wouldn't be able to get that without giving up a lot of picks and giving up one of those players. So with that being said, I like what the Thunder did. They made a small move. It's possible they could make a run this year. Gordon Hayward fills that hole at the 3 spot that they were missing. Veteran with some good shooting. I like the move for them. Sam Presti will have time. He will have money to spend this offseason. And this is not their only window. to win in the NBA. It is not their only window to go to the finals. The West is the weaker division, in my personal opinion, in the NBA right now. So I think they have time. So if you're a Thunder fan, if you're an NBA fan, don't be mad. It's going to be okay. I think, and Sai said they only gave up 2 seconds, no pick swap. So yeah, 18 picks that Sam Presti has in the next 6 drafts. He's going to deal. And that might be going up to number 1 in one of these drafts because he can make a God deal. He can just throw something out there and say, hey, that number 1 pick is mine if he wants it. And so if there's somebody in the 2024 or the 2025 draft that he thinks is that guy, is the difference maker, he can do that. He has money to spend because these guys are on smaller deals still. So have faith in Sam Presti. He's building something there in OKC, and I really like what he is building. I believe that's all I have for today. Little bit of a longer show. Normally try to stay around 20 minutes, but did have a few rants to go on. So I apologize for that. But thank you so much for watching the MJ Hurley show today, presented by TDT Media and Erie Insurance. As always, thank you in the background to Sai, my good producer. For those who like the content we're throwing around here, make sure to tune into Beer vs. Ivy, which tomorrow will be at 5 p.m. Central Time. Make sure to tune in on Tuesday to the breakdown featuring NFL veteran DB Nate Ness, which will be at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then, as always, me and Bruce on Third Down Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time every single Thursday. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And with that, I will leave you with the best commercial insurance has ever seen, our wonderful car guy from Erie Insurance.